Why Smart Sailing, which is the title of my talk. I grew up in Portugal, a country which centuries ago discovered so many new places in the world by sailing. So I think it might just be natural to me to think about sailing to reach a goal. And while I believe that there's a lot we can do with what we've been given, I do think there's always winds, or a share of destiny, let's say it, defining our path. If I go back in time and I think, why am I a lawyer? I'm not really sure. I think, well, my parents always said I'm a pretty good negotiator. I used to say, like, if they ask me something like, do you want a chocolate? I would say, what if I do this? Can I get two? The key point is that you don't always have to know what you want to do. USD was an easy choice. The university has a great reputation. The program was just what I was looking for. And it had the perk of being on the West Coast and the sun setting just like it does at home. So no doubts there. Nevertheless, to go all the way to the other side of the world to pursue a common law degree was not the safest option. I could have gone to London, where I had many friends, and it was easier. I had no visa, no other issues. However, I wanted to go to a faraway destination, to some place I would not have the opportunity to go otherwise, to meet people I would not have the opportunity to meet otherwise. And I mean, everyone's different. For me, I love traveling. I love learning new languages. And from a very young age, I think I realized that in order for you to really know yourself, you have to step away from the things you know, because it is when you're away from these things you already know that you get to see layers of yourself you didn't know they existed. And when I think of layers, I think of an onion. I don't know why, but that's why there's an onion there. So these new layers come from your ability to adapt to new circumstances. You'll create like these new layers. Some layers will become part of your core. You'll have them all the time. They'll become part of your inherent personality. And then you have other layers which will like only magically appear when you need them the most. Kind of like a personalized Swiss Army knife. Only after you get to know yourself and you get to really like see these layers, these traits that were present in a situation and the ones that weren't, you get to know like where you're going and what you want. And to know where you're going and what you want is crucial, because if you don't know where you want to go, you'll be vulnerable to going to where others want you to go. As things are not this easy, and this is back home, so things are not this easy. I would be lying, like every time I remember before going to San Diego, I would be like looking, like going to the beach or like looking at my house and my dog and my family, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But I always thought like, well, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna meet new people. I'm gonna like improve my English. I'm gonna taste some like new foods. And this is going to be a great experience. I mean, I wouldn't be speaking here before you if I didn't take this risk to go to study to San Diego. I wouldn't be like working in Spanish all day yesterday if I didn't decide to come to Madrid and work. And at the end of the day, these things make it worth the while. So before coming to Madrid, I was also given the opportunity to work at this international law firm in Brussels. And I thought it was a great opportunity, but I had to think of, was it the right one for me? So I had this proposal from Madrid as well, and I had this proposal from Brussels. I was split between these two choices. And on one side, there was like Brussels, and I had like privacy. I would be working at this international law firm. It was probably like the safest choice. Privacy is a subject that I had been working for quite a long time, so I was very comfortable with it. And then there were like fries and beer and rain. And then there was Madrid, like, which was another option. I would be working at this Spanish law firm who's like specialized in technology. I'd be working with these technology contracts, which I had gained a deep interest in, but something that was less comfortable for me. And then I thought, well, but there's calamari and there's like the beer and the sun. So my judgment was probably not the best, because I'm partial from the moment you say calamari. But I went to Madrid, as I'm now living here. So I knew I wanted to speak Spanish the way that I speak English. I think I'm getting there, although people still joke me every day with my accent. And I knew I wanted to work on these technology contracts, but that my opportunities in Portugal were very limited because it's a smaller market. So I decided to take like a step, and I decided like to make it like the riskier choice. Was it like more challenging? Yes. Less secure? Probably. But nevertheless, I felt that it was the best option for me. And I think that's something we need to focus on, what's best for us. A year later, and a few adventures after, I'm now a legal counsel at one of like the most relevant digital banks in Spain. And I work every day with these technology contracts that I wanted to work since I'm in Portugal. So I'm exactly where I wanted to be. And some see it as like the law of attraction. I don't see it that way. I think that if you learn to control the wind, this wind that you'll face, like you will get where you want to be heading. When I'm scared of something, and before like making any decision that will have an impact in my life, I always think about something that my mom once told me. She told me that people used to ask her, why would she take us on trips when we were little, even though like we wouldn't remember anything? And my parents, my mom would say like, because even if all they remember it's a words, a smell, a taste, it's worth it, because the only thing you cannot buy at once and no one can steal away from you is culture. And culture is priceless. So if you think about it, you really have nothing to lose from trying out these new things, because you might think like that it's not secure, that it might not be exactly what you want to do, but more than getting out there and making connections and doing exactly this thing that you thought you were gonna like be doing, you're gonna be learning with this experience. You're gonna be tasting new food. You're gonna be meeting new people. You're gonna be like learning history. You're gonna be like having so many new subjects in your life, and these subjects will allow you to like create common ground for you to connect with anyone you want. And this will always help me. If you ask me if there's anything I regret, well, I don't think there is. I mean, there's always one dress or something, but I move on, So the point is that there's always something good you can take out of a new experience you have embraced, as long as you've embraced it with the intention to take you closer to where you want to be. Centuries ago, Portuguese discovered many new places, such as Brazil, India, Mozambique, Angola. I'm not here to teach you Portuguese history. But if these navigators didn't take a risk and kept sailing in the one direction they thought it was right, they would have never, ever reached these new places. So one thing you need to know is that there will always be winds to deal with our lives, which can sometimes be riskier. But if you take a deep breath and you learn to control the winds, that turbulence might actually take you to some pretty amazing places, which may be exactly where you want to go. Thank you.